All right, welcome back to the application walkthrough for the 2021 Broadcom MASTERS application. Now we're going to go ahead and take a look at Part 1, Formal Registration Task. So in Part 1, it asks some basic information about you, your school, and your science fair. This section is confidential, and evaluators don't see any of this information when making decisions about your application. There are a few things that I want to point out on this page. So first, you should know that there are 2 pages in this task. So once you finish entering everything, you'll go down to the bottom and you can hit next to proceed to the next page. You won't be able to click that until you've properly entered everything that's required in this page of the task. So first, it asks you a little bit about yourself, just your name. We do ask 2 different versions of your email address. We know that you might have one email that you're using for communications this year, but we do also want to make sure we can reach back out to you in the future, so you have the option of entering a long-term email address for us as well. You can then enter all these questions about how you identify. Gender and ethnicity and race are optional. We'll ask for your name for public materials, and this is important because we'll be using this if you're named as a top 300 master or a top 30 finalist in things like our finalist book and press releases. So we want to make sure we're using the name that you want to be public facing. You enter your address. There are some questions here that have more options once you select a specific answer. So for example, we're asking about what other languages you speak. If you hit yes, then you'll see a list of languages that you can check from. You can select all that apply. And if you hit no, that list goes away. We'll ask about your alumni status and then your parent and guardian information. And we do copy your parent or guardian on all of our emails that we send through the application system. So now we've gone in and filled out all the information, so we can hit either save and continue editing if you want to take a look back on everything that you entered in this page, or you can hit next and it should take you to page 2. So now we're on page 2 of part 1, and you'll see that there are a couple of different places where you can check the progress of this task, or your progress of this task. Up at the top, there's a little circle that's half filled that shows that you've done page 1. And then there's also a progress bar that says 50% complete. So once this page is totally filled in, that should change to 100, and we'll show you how to make sure that you're marking this task as complete at the end of this video. So this next page, the first thing it's going to ask you to do is list your school. And we want the name of your current school for the 2020 to 2021 academic year. So to fill out this section, you can start typing in the name of your school in the search bar. When finding your school from the drop-down menu, make sure that you type out the full name of the school. For example, if your school is St. Mary's, type out the full word Saint instead of just putting an ST. If you are a homeschool student, please select homeschool. We know that many of you have special or more formal names that you use for your homeschool, but for this case, please just enter homeschool. If you cannot find the name of your school from this drop-down list, please email us at masters@societyforscience.org with the name and address of your school so that we can add it to our drop-down menu. Next, you're going to select the type of school you attend. There's a few different options there. You should also give us your school's address. We'll be sending mail to your school if you're selected as a top 300 master or top 30 finalist, so please make sure you're giving us the most accurate address you know. Next, we are going to ask you for your middle school teacher information. So in this section, we want you to list your middle school science teacher, research teacher, it could be an informal program educator, or your homeschooling instructor, but it's important that this teacher is associated with your middle school. This person will receive awards if you advance, to the top 300 masters or finalists. And it needs to be a middle school teacher. We ask if you're related to the teacher. Again, it's mostly used for award purposes and has no, it is not used in the evaluation of your application at all, so you can click yes or no there. And then we also ask whether or not you would identify your middle school teacher as your research mentor or the person who has most supported you in your science or engineering project this year. We know that most students do work closely with their middle school teachers, but not all. So if there's someone else that you want to thank or you want us to reach out to, if you click no to that question, you'll be able to fill in information about your project mentor. This person should be the person who has most supported you with your research project this year, other than a parent or guardian, and they will be notified if you advance in the Broadcom Masters competition. Next, we're going to ask for your principal's information. Again, they'll receive communications from us. Next, we're going to ask some information about your science fair and your project. So if you are opening this application, that means you were nominated for Broadcom Masters by a local or state science fair. In some cases, you might have been nominated by both your local and state fair. And so if you were nominated by 2 fairs, you can hit yes to this question and then enter your second fair here. Then we ask if this was a team project. Just a friendly reminder that each member of a team project needs to submit their own independent application in their own words. So you can be nominated as a team, but each person in that team needs to complete their own application. You should select yes or no here, depending on your answer to that question. And then if your answer is yes, please also list your additional team members in the following question. The next few questions just ask a little bit more about your research experience this year and your project. We just want to get to know you a little bit better and learn more about your research, but these questions are not used in the evaluation of your application. So now that we've filled in everything for page 2 of this task, you can go ahead and click Save and Continue Editing if you want to save this page and go back and read through your answers. We recommend doing that, but also you'll see that there's a Mark as Complete button. You should click this button when you're done with this task completely so that the progress bar marks this task as complete. So now I'll go ahead and click the Mark as Complete button. And you'll see that up at the top, there's a green check mark next to part 1. So this tells you that this task is totally complete. If you want to go back and edit anything in this task, you can still do that. Click the top 3 dots at the top of the page there, and you'll see a few different options. To edit, just click Edit. The reset button will wipe out anything on this task, so we don't recommend you do that unless you totally need to start over. But you probably just want to hit Edit to make any small corrections. You can also download this task once you're done as well. That concludes part 1, formal registration. Tune in to our next video to learn more about part 2, project information.